This is the Vision with Execution show. My name's Adam Torkelson. I have a pretty awesome guest on my show today, Jon Cheney. Welcome to the show, Jon.
Thanks so much. Glad to be here, Adam.
So I heard about you through the Joe Rogan podcast. I listened to all 3 hours of it, as everyone does, right?
Of course. That's how it works, right? Well, as soon as it comes out, you're glued the whole time. Never look back.
Yeah, no matter what you're doing, you could be splitting rails in the back or working on a computer, coding up the next super AI company, which
That's right.
is sort of a precursor to what you're going to be talking about.
Yeah.
But why don't you tell me and everybody else who might be listening? There's probably like 5 people who listen to the show right now. So tell us who you are.
That's okay. So yeah, Jon Cheney. I do a lot of things. I started a company back in. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life, but started my first one that really took off. Right, raised $13 million for it. Started back in 2016. Company called Seek, and that was in the augmented reality immersive space. And we did some really cool stuff. Really took the company to be one of the top companies in the world as far as a SaaS application for B2B 3D content. And after 8 years of that, sold out. And so that acquisition was finalized. So I left the company actually a little bit before it got sold and put another CEO in place. And because I had another company acquire a little piece of Seek of what we were doing, and they said, "Hey, Jon, we want you to come run this new thing." And that was kind of where my heart was at the moment. So I went with that. Left somebody else, and then we sold the company off. But bottom line is, have been through the ringer in the startup world, and had some successes and plenty of failures to go along with those that all add up to the big picture. And now today, I really got into AI. I've always been kind of a techie, right? I love tech. I've loved, from when I was a kid, I loved the latest computer game and the next fastest computer. And I was so excited when, the first hard drive that had a terabyte existed, right? Back from, just megabytes, and then the gigabytes, and then the terabytes. I just always loved seeing the progress, right? And obviously, owned an augmented reality company, which was, very cutting edge. And then AI, I only had to switch one letter, right? And jumped into this. And so I've just kind of always been pushing the limit, right? And enjoying that. And so today I run a company called the General AI Proficiency Institute, which is a long name, or a Gen AIPI. And really we focus on helping businesses and individuals, entrepreneurs, people be more prepared for AI, right? In the business world. That's really what we focus on. So do that. And so that's the professional side. I, just in my office here, I've got several pianos. I've got 3 pianos just in this room alone, and Aragorn's sword over there, right? Anyway, love movies, love music, and do that actually at a professional level as well. So I do a few things, and I could probably talk about a couple more, but those things take up a lot of time.
Yeah, and I am not the Joe Rogan podcast, so I only spend about 30 minutes with each of my guests, because I feel like that's about the time span somebody's going to give to any one particular show.
Okay.
So let's try and pack in as much as we can while we have time. And I have zero expectations for how this is going to go. I make up each episode as I go along.
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't do it that way, but that's my style, because I feel like they're just like conversations I have with somebody, just getting to know them. And
Mm-hmm.
If I try and structure a conversation any particular way, it gets kind of boring to me, just to be honest.
No, I agree.
So,
Going down a list of questions can get boring, but yeah, let's just have a good conversation and let people listen in.
yeah, so I really like that you mentioned your pianos and your Aragorn sword. It really adds a dimension to you that I'm going to start asking questions about for just a second.
I love it.
I also have a background in music, not professionally. My family recorded a CD way back in the day,
Cool.
and it was just like basic
Hardcore
home.
metal.
Yeah, us common North Dakota hardcore metal folk,
Exactly.
growing up on the farm, pumping some oil, rocking some heavy metal.
Perfect.
I was homeschooled too,
Hmm.
and we basically learned how to read and write and do music. That was our education.
That's all you need, man. I love it.
Yeah. And so how did you get into music, and how do you do it professionally? Maybe do some name dropping while you're at it.
Yeah, I started playing the piano when I was like 3, and had lessons for a few years in there from about age 7 to 12. But for the most part, I'm pretty self-taught. Did all the AP music, and I was in jazz band, and all those things. Played the saxophone as well. Got a saxophone chilling right there as well. Anyway,
Nice.
so in jazz band, I would play the piano. I'd do like a piano solo, and then I'd switch to my saxophone on stage. Anyway, it's really fun. So anyway, I've always just loved music, and I've always really loved movie music, right? Like John Williams and the Hans Zimmers and Thomas Newman, Alan Silvestri. Like those guys are my heroes, and that's the kind of music I just love to listen to, right? If I'm just like I need to get in the mode, I'm turning on Thomas Newman, or I'm turning on my list, and I'm just gonna let that drive me forward. I just barely saw the movie F1, and man, Hans Zimmer just nailed it with that one. It's a
Nice.
good
Nice.
music, good movie. But anyway, started composing. Jazz really kind of opened me up into the, when you play jazz, you oftentimes don't have any notes in front of you. You just have some chords, and they say, all right, go, right? And you just kind of have to make it up on the spot. And so I think that kind of unlocked a part of my brain where you have to be ready, on your feet to talk and go, and you're talking through your notes, right? But you just have to make something up, right? And so at about age 15, I started writing, composing piano music, things like that. And at this point, I've got about 10 albums, maybe 12 albums or so. You can listen to them on all major streaming platforms, and have worked with a lot of great people in doing some of those things. You said name dropping, and I've collaborated with some people on different things, but really I just love to play music and bring peace into people's lives. And I could name drop a few people, but I won't do that here. There's a lot of really, really great people. My music style is, when I fully orchestrate things, is probably closer to one of those film composers, that I was talking about. But I do a lot of original music. I do, hymn arrangements, things like that, and lots of Christmas stuff too. I really love Christmas, and combining music in there. My Christmas tree goes up in July in my piano room. And so it's not like the main room with, all the lights and all that stuff and all the stockings, but I throw a Christmas tree up because I got to start playing Christmas music, getting ready, because you release it, in November, and I got to produce it and write it and all that stuff in the months leading up to it. So anyway, I perform, and I've performed with plenty of big, Broadway people and different places. But most of what I do is kind of on my own.
Sweet. Well, that's awesome. Um, I assume you know who Kurt Bester is.
Kurt's a great friend.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And I'm not connected to anyone in the music industry
Mm-hmm.
nearly as much as it sounds like you are. But I've always there's a show called Nashville that my wife and I just finished watching on
Yeah.
Hulu, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like how they did that show, because the backstory, there's a little bit of a interesting, whenever we watch shows, we always look it up on IMDb and look at all the little tidbits
Mm-hmm.
and trivia and stuff. And all the actors and actresses on that show, they all used their own voices in all their scenes.
So
And
it's real. Yeah.
yes, I respect that highly.
Well, that's very
As
cool.
I sang a cappella in college, and that's
Mm-hmm.
probably the full extent of my ability is singing bass in an a cappella choir.
Well, that's amazing. I can't sing, so you've got me beat there.
Okay, well, I am so happy that I have beat you at something. So
I'll
I
play the
always like,
piano. Well, you can come to my studio here. Like I've got microphones and other stuff all around here. Anyway, you'll do the singing, I'll do the playing. We can release the track.
um, I will take you up on that. Don't offer me stuff like that unless
Hey,
you're
I'm ready.
serious, bro.
I'm ready. I'm serious. I don't say
All
anything
right.
I don't.
All right. Now I'm going to name drop somebody on you. You've never heard of him, but he was for the last 15 years. Him and his wife have been in charge of the performers at the Nauvoo, in the Nauvoo mission.
Okay, yeah, cool.
They interview and audition all the actors, all the dancers, the performers, and it was a calling that they just did. They weren't paid for it.
Yeah.
His name's Jon Stutzenegger.
Oh
It's
yeah.
another really easy to misspell name, but he's an amazing vocal artist, and he plays the piano or the guitar. And I went to high school with his wife, and he and I were companions on our mission.
Oh, nice.
And he's he's one of my best friends, but it, I don't know where I'm going with this. But he and I love talking about music, and he's way more of a music nerd than I am. But he's going to listen to this podcast, and he's going to look you up and probably stalk you on the internet from here
I
on
love
out.
it. I live to be stalked. So
Beautiful. So, John, just real quick, you're married, kids,
yeah, married,
all
four
the stuff.
kids. Yeah, I live in a place called West Mountain, Utah, which is just a nice place with a bunch of ranches out here. And I'm kind of a fake farmer. We've lived here about 3 years. I have a tractor, so that's cool. That makes me feel like a
Yep.
farmer. And about 60 chickens. My wife's got a nice horse, and probably grabbing another one pretty quick here. We used to have goats, but man, those things just like to destroy, and so we got rid of those. But anyway, yeah, live out here, have a good time.
That's cool, man. I gave up farm life when I moved out of North Dakota
Mhm.
growing up and became a city boy in Provo. That's where I graduated high school.
Awesome.
But now I think about tech a lot myself. And I started my tech career at SEO.com many, many moons ago. And these days, SEO and AI are kind of crashing and or merging into each other in a lot of ways. And I know you have somewhat of a background in SEO yourself, all
Yeah,
kinds
yeah.
of technology, but you know
I
SEO.
know my way around it for sure. Yeah, I know what's going on.
Yeah. So I was the last time we talked on the phone, I was super fascinated. This has nothing to do with SEO, but I was fascinated by what you're doing right now for the company you started, Gen AI Institute. Is that what it
Yeah,
was?
yeah. Gen AIPI. Yeah.
Okay. You were telling me about some of the students who've gone through your 9.5 hour course. I believe that's how long you said it was,
Hmm.
who have started up companies that two of them you said have done about six figures
Yeah. Well,
each.
yeah. They passed the 100,000 mark, right? So one of them, yeah, one of the companies is it's actually a volleyball related company, which is pretty cool. Just basically, if you ever heard of Cameo, if you ever heard of Cameo, right, where you can like pay to have an actor say something to you or whatever, kind of
I've
same
used it.
model.
Yeah.
But yeah, me too. It's awesome. It's kind of fun. But this is the same idea, but for volleyball coaches, or sorry, big time volleyball players, right? So like Olympians and big time, top collegiate players and professional players, and then you've got high school students and say, hey, here's my serve, look at it, critique me, all that stuff, right? So kind of asynchronous video coaching with volleyball stuff, completely built with AI. He built that thing. He is not a tech guy at all. He's a volleyball coach. Like he's not a tech guy, and he's built that thing and got just kind of took off. And part of what helped him take off was the tech was good enough, right? He was able to build it with AI, but he had all those connections. He knew all the people in the volleyball space that could then do that. So his coaching, the coaches are like 25 of the best volleyball players in the world. Like they're awesome, right? And so anyway, that was pretty cool. And then the other one really is focusing on helping businesses prototype and build MVPs with AI, because he got really good at the process that I taught him during the course. And he's like, oh, I think other businesses would like to do this. And so now businesses hire him to help them kind of launch their MVPs and test different things in the market with AI. So pretty cool. And lots of other businesses have been started. Just they haven't quite reached 100,000. Many of them are going on and making money now. They've definitely paid back the 1250 or whatever it is they paid for the course. But it's amazing to watch my students go and do just awesome stuff.
Well, I think it's awesome that you came out with this product, this course, this um, cohort system of teaching people, just regular people, how to use AI to do all kinds of stuff that they never would have thought they had the capability to do,
Yeah.
for one thing. and they're going out and putting it to use in real world situations. I've never taken your course, so I can't actually say what it's like or anything, but I do want to have you just talk a little bit about how the course works and what people should expect if they take it.
Yeah, a lot of the AI training that's out there right now is very general. It's very broad, and they'll say, "Hey, look at this cool thing you can do," right? And most of them, just are living inside of ChatGPT. I saw yesterday that ChatGPT has 500 million weekly users. That's crazy, right? Considering how long they've been out, I mean, just a couple years. That's insane, man. Like that's like, you know, internet browser status, right? I mean, it's just incredible, right? Chrome, I think, has 3 billion users, but and actually OpenAI just announced that they're coming out with a web browser in the next few weeks. So I'm excited to see that. But the bottom line is, one of the things that I really bring to the course that's different is, I have this entrepreneurship experience, right? I've been there, I've raised money, I've ran, 50, 60 person teams, right? I haven't done the 1,000 person teams, I haven't been Fortune 500 CEO, but I've been the startup CEO. I know how to do that. I know how to do that early stage. And I also know that a lot of people, most people, including me even, right, are held back from starting something that they want to do because they don't have the money. And they don't know how to code. They don't know how to make the software. They hardly even know how to make the website, even if you use something like Wix, right? And that's just for like basic e-commerce type stuff, right? But if you want to really build an idea where you've got this cool CRM for, I don't know, hair salons, or whatever it is you want to do, right? You have to be able to code. And so if you're the business side, the idea guy, maybe the stay-at-home mom, and you've got this idea and you want to do something, you're just like, man, I just wish I could do it. And now all of a sudden, with AI, in just a matter of hours, you can spin up a completely new system that's ready to rock, that's ready for customers in about a day. I did kind of a sprint, and I spent like 10 hours, 3 days in a row, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, to launch Gen AIPI. And it's a complex piece of software with admin tools and user roles and quizzes and certifications and trainings and all these modules and all these things, like really complex stuff that prior. So I did the math, did analysis on this. So again, I've raised money. I've paid $300,000 to developers, right? And I've done that before. I know what it costs and what it takes to build a business. I built a business that was cash flow positive in a week, and I spent about $400 to do it. It took me about 30, 35 hours to just work through it and talking to the AI. Even 5 years ago, definitely 10 years ago, it would have taken about $2.8 million in roughly 18 months to build my software up to where it is today. And that's crazy, right? And my wife did it. My 12-year-old said, "Hey, Dad, can I take the course?" And so he sat in on like cohort 7 or something, and he built stuff, right? And he can build software now. And now my 11-year-old just said, "Hey, Dad, can I sit in on the course next week?" So she's going to join it too. But the bottom line is, the thing that really lowers the barrier with AI, with everything related to AI, is the language is one that we already speak. It's what we're doing right now. We're speaking English. And by the way, you can do it in Spanish too, or Chinese, or Morse code if you want, right? And AI will understand all of those options. You can tell it in whatever language, in whatever way you want, and it will understand you. You don't have to learn JavaScript or Python or learn, Django or whatever it is. Like you don't have to go through all of that years and years of training just to become a junior developer, and then spend years and years and years to become a senior developer in order to be able to build cool stuff. Now it's almost as easy as picking up your phone and taking a video, right? It used to be, 25 years ago, it used to be hard to make videos, digital videos. I actually did that when I was young. I was an entrepreneur, and I would go and I'd like film business videos. I'd edit videos for like someone's 50th birthday party, and I'd charge $500 for it, whatever. As a teenager, I was doing that. That was fun. But I had to like connect things and buy, expensive hardware to connect my video camera to the computer, and then in real time, upload it. It would take 45 minutes to upload it, and I could edit it and do all these things, and then burn it to a DVD, and that was really hard. And now anyone can make a video, right? With seconds, right? You jump on, and on Instagram, there's a little tool, or on TikTok, or you download one of 500 apps that can help you make a video, and it's available. But what AI is doing now is it's lowering that barrier for everybody to be able to jump in and whip up a piece of software in minutes to hours.
So basically what I'm getting from this is that you're really trying to build confidence for everybody to feel like they can use AI to build their idea no matter what it is.
100%. Anybody can do it. Nobody is excluded.
And I love that. And that's a mindset shift, I think, for a lot of people. Just in the first place, that they have the capacity to do something like this if they just give it a shot.
Yeah.
I know a lot of, I mean, I've got a 14-year-old daughter who thinks she's terrible at everything that she tries. And I think that's a 14-year-old daughter mindset in
Right.
general. But I'm a huge advocate for just helping ourselves break out of our own imposed mental prisons that we put ourselves in, whether it's addiction, whether it's other mental health problems that are holding us back from reaching our full potential. And at the end of the day, I feel like that's kind of what you're trying to accomplish here is with AI is to help everybody see they have that capacity, and it's a $1,250 course and 9 hours or so. And that's what impresses me the most about what you're doing.
Let me say one more thing about this, Adam. Just thinking about your daughter and, being 14 is hard, no matter which way you look at it. Like you've got so many pressures trying to figure out who you are, all this stuff, right? But one thing that I know that she is, because all humans are, I think that our core human superpower is creation. We're
Mm-hmm.
creators, right? And I particularly identify with creation, right? Obviously, creating music, creating businesses, creating adventures. I'm a whitewater kayaker, class 5, going off waterfalls. I love to do that. Creating memories. We can create humans, right? We can create all kinds of things. And I really believe, especially if you start to get into some of my more, deeper convictions and religious beliefs, I believe that creation is something we're going to be doing for a long time. And it's going to be one of the primary things that we continue to develop that skill, right? And so, I'm actually working on a new website. If you go to joncheney.com right now, you'll find my piano music and I have sheet music, and you can buy it. And if you're a piano player, you can do that. But I'm revamping it completely because I obviously do a lot more than piano, right? I do all these different things, and so I'm trying to bring this holistic. Here's joncheney.com, and I'm using AI to create an amazing, beautiful website, of course, that up to now it's all been just like it's a Shopify website, right? I'm just using a template. I've had it up for 10 years and really haven't updated it much in the 10 years other than adding more, content, more music. But the whole theme around it is, when you land on it, it says inspired creation, right? And it's not that I'm there to just have you look at my creations. Like, yes, you can explore and see the things I've done and engage with me in whatever way you want. But I hope that when people land on my site and the messaging and there's invitations to do things and to submit stuff, it's all about inspired creation. I want people to realize that creation is humanity's superpower. Everyone is capable of it. And we all create different things, right? So for example, my wife is an incredible gardener. So she can create amazing gardens. I can't. I mean, I know how to water them and pull weeds, but I can't, I don't have the green thumb. I can't create that way. Some people are creating in the kitchen, and they just make unbelievable food, and that improves people's lives. And other people create in every way. But everybody, where we really find happiness as humans, I think, is when we're creating.
And I would have to completely agree. And yeah, my own religious convictions are in exact alignment with yours. And I would even go so far as to say, if anybody listening is following along with Come Follow Me right now, section 76 of the Doctrine and Covenants talks about this whole where we're going after we die and what we're meant to be doing in that
Mm-hmm.
time, the eternities. And I'm glad you brought that up, John, because I always try and bring up a spiritual aspect in every one of my episodes, and you beat me to it. So thank you.
Awesome. Yeah.
Um, we we kind of have to wrap up, unfortunately, but this has been really fun and interesting for me. Just the quick little conversation we were able to have about the cool stuff that you're involved in, John. And uh, if you wouldn't mind taking just a minute real quick, what is the main call to action that you want to put out there? It could be anything, but what would that be if you wanted people to take an action on what we're just talking about?
Yeah, you know what? Obviously, you can come take my course. I mean, that's cool, but you don't have to either, right? If you want to just go learn, right? But the best way to learn is to do, right? If you just sit back and you say, I just don't understand it, then yeah, you're not going to progress. But get uncomfortable and go try things, right? If you want to learn AI, jump on Instagram and follow AI pages, right? Where there's lots of things that teach you. I learn a lot that way. Get on X, get on whatever your platform is, right? And find AI creators and content creators. Follow me on LinkedIn, Instagram. I talk about it a lot, whatever. Facebook, just look my name up, Jon Cheney, and you'll find me. Or at Cheney Piano is my tag on almost all platforms. And so go out and find me and follow me, and then just try things that I talk about, right? If you want to come take a course, that's great. But the reality is, you need to learn. This is the primary takeaway. This is what all this leading to. The primary takeaway is you cannot ignore AI. You cannot. It is such a profound and the fabric of society will change because of AI. There will be hundreds of millions of people whose jobs change, right? Not, there are reports out there that say, 500 million jobs will be lost by 2030, right? And I completely understand why those really smart institutes and research people are, I understand why they're saying that. It's because AI can do everything better than everyone. It's crazy, right? Like, we're real. It can make music better than I can. It can teach AI better than I can. It can build computers better than humans can. It can come up with, whatever. It can do everything faster, better, stronger, whatever. It's something like 18% of all music uploaded to Spotify every day is created by AI. How am I supposed to compete with that, right? 18,000 songs a day going on to Spotify. How can I compete with that? With my, I come out with 12 songs a year, or maybe 20 songs a year if I'm really, really working hard. It's almost impossible to compete with. But if I understand that, then I can make a plan and I can strategize around it. If I understand how to use it, I can then use it to my advantage. And not only that, most people, the vast majority of people that listen to this, right, that listen to this and that are just out there, have never touched AI, right? And by that I mean, yeah, maybe you've asked ChatGPT a couple questions and used it as a replacement for Google, but no, it's far more impactful than that. And if you can really learn how to use it, then you're going to create a knowledge gap. And all money is made in this world with a knowledge gap. You pay a lawyer because he knows more than you. You pay a doctor because he knows where to cut. You pay a plumber because he knows where to bang, right? It's that difference. That's why you pay money. And so if everyone else is here and you say, hey, I'm going to take my AI understanding to here, regardless of your industry, that's the cool thing. AI is applicable to everything. Regardless of what you do, learn AI and you will have an advantage. Don't sit on the sideline anymore. Jump in.
Awesome. It's a great call to action. And with that, we're going to conclude our show today. Thanks so much, Jon. This
My
has
pleasure,
been
Adam. Thanks for having me.
Great episode of the Vision with Execution show, and I hope everybody goes and follows Jon Cheney Piano. Is that what the handle was? Cheney Piano.
Yep, at Cheney Piano. Cheney, Cheney. Go find me, Jon Cheney, or
Okay.
look me up on like Apple Music if you want to fall asleep to soothing music.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Jon.
Okay. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.